She's been crushing it in her agency with massive growth. Recently, Becky's agency wrote over 100,000 in new business premium in 1 month, earning her award as a top performing agency. She's also more than doubled her annual production last year and has almost doubled her first quarter production this year over last year's. And so we'll be diving into what she's been doing for lead generation, how she's maintaining consistent growth, how she's saving her and her team's time while doing so, what she's looking for when hiring team members, and how social media has been a part of the strategy.
I wasn't really moving up. I was kind of just staying, I was plateaued. But I was working hard. I was working long hours. I was calling leads all day long, following up, quoting everybody I could, but I wasn't progressing, and I really didn't know what was out there, what's possible, who to talk to.
This episode of The Insurance Dream is brought to you by...
Having the direct market is amazing. It empowers you because now you are able to offer your clients so much more options. So to be able to go direct through you guys and to have that trust of access is amazing. And then also to be able to quote multiple carriers at the same time.
Insurance Professionals is the aggregator unlike any other. You own your book of business 100%. You pay no sign-up fees, monthly fees, or exit fees. You have direct logins to the nation's top insurance companies. And you have the ability to quote and bind directly on the carrier's website. Insurance Professionals was built for insurance agents by insurance agents. Come see what makes us America's favorite aggregator at www.becomeaninsurancepro.com. Again, that's www.becomeaninsurancepro.com.
First off, for those, especially the first time, who are we? Why are you here? And so I'm David Denning, one of the founders of Jumpstart Go, who runs Marketing for Insurance Agents Facebook group, where the most of you are coming from, which we created that as a free resource for you guys to come ask questions, connect with other agents, have discussions, positive atmosphere, cheering each other on. And then we do weekly trainings on Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern, like this one. So make sure you get that on your calendar and check those out and just create that as a free resource for you guys. And then we also have a program called Closers Click, which you may hear a little bit about tonight, but that's where we work with really agents and agency owners that are serious about growing their insurance business, their sales, their commissions, and really taking their business to the next level, whether they just started up a business or an agency, or whether they have an established one. That's where we focus on strategies and accountability for them, increasing commissions and sales and growing their agency. So with that, that is myself and Becky. I would love if you can give a bit of an introduction for yourself as well.
My name is Becky Craycraft. I have a farmer's agency in Lubbock, Texas. I've been an insurance agent just about 2.5 years, so not very long. I'm still a baby in the industry, learning all the ropes. I purchased a book of business, so I did start out with a little bit, and then we've grown. I started out, I don't know if you guys talk policies, about 900 policies. Now we're about 2,000 policies. So we've grown quite a bit in that time. Before I was an agent, I worked for the local school district. And so I have teacher helping mentality. That's kind of how I base everything, is we're helping people. And that's me.
I love it. I love it. And you say 2.5 years. It's kind of baby new agency. Well, when both agents don't make it past 2 or 3 years in the industry in total, I'd say you're starting to get towards experienced agent around that point, especially doing so well with that short of a period of time in the industry. So congrats, excited to talk about a little bit about that. So guys, what are you guys all here for? I see someone raised your hand. So make sure to ask any questions in the chat and we'll collect those and get all those answered for you. Just make sure to set it to everyone. And for whoever raised their hand, just make sure to ask it and we'll collect that question and get that answered. But hopping into why you guys are here today. So today I'm excited to have Becky on because she's been crushing it in her agency with massive growth. Recently, Becky's agency wrote over 100,000 in new business premium in 1 month, earning her award as a top performing agency. She's also more than doubled her annual production last year and has almost doubled her first quarter production this year over last year's. And so we'll be diving into what she's been doing for lead generation, how she's maintaining consistent growth, how she's saving her and her team's time while doing so, what she's looking for when hiring team members, and how social media has been a part of strategy. We're going to dive in all that for you guys. I know a lot of that's interesting, so let me know in the comments which of those sounds the most interesting and you'd like to learn the most about, because we'll be talking about all those during tonight's webinar with Becky. So feel free to ask questions throughout. Like I mentioned, go ahead and drop those in the chat, interact, comments. The more engaged you are, the more you'll get out of this as well, and the more we'll be able to answer your questions too. So make sure to ask those, and we'll collect those and get all those answered for you for sure. If you're ready to dive into the training and hear everything, just write "let's go" in the chat. And if we get some "let's goes," we'll go ahead and hop into everything. Otherwise, Becky and I go grab a drink. So looks like
Let's go.
we're ready to go before I even finish saying that. So, okay, so we'll go ahead and hop in then. So I don't like to waste any time because we got a lot of stuff to talk about and I tend to go long anyways. So let's go ahead and hop in. And great job, Lawrence. I'm going ahead and ask some questions. Yes, let's keep the questions train going. So we got some good questions to answer in a little bit. So keep riding those. So Becky, can you tell us a little bit about the growth you experienced in the last year, some of the recent awards, accomplishments, how that feels? I'd love to hear, because you're coming off some big movement, big growth, big month, record month last
Yeah,
month.
we had a record
Already doing really well this month. So I'd love to hear some more on that.
So the prior year, and when I first started, we were, 20,000 a month or so. We kind of got a couple months where we could do 40 here and there. And then, we got in the closers click, and then we jumped to the next level. We started seeing the 60s, and then we were getting consistent, and then we got our $100,000 a month. So that's kind of what's progressed. Yeah.
And so what is that? The 100 that I saw that looked like you had won award for like top performing agency, qualified for it looks
Topper
like
Club.
Topper Club.
Topper
for
Club,
farmers,
yeah.
Less than top of the 10% of farmers agencies
Yes.
qualify for. I saw John Lucero comment that it's too bad they do this by region because he would have met you at it. Absolutely. So we'll have to get him meeting up with you in the future. But that's awesome. And tell me a little bit, how's your team feel? Are they pretty excited by the last month?
They're super excited. Yes, they're super excited. We've done a little bit of celebrating here at the office too. So
just a little bit. So
just a little
awesome.
bit. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's really exciting. It's really exciting. I'm sure. I know we've had big breakouts. Like it almost feels surreal for a little bit of like, man, this is kind of crazy.
Well, I kept looking at it like, is this real? This really happening?
I've done the same thing in the past, and then it seems so surreal, and then it becomes your new normal, and then it's almost like, oh, 100,000, okay, cool, but we're really looking for 150 or 200,000 now.
Yeah.
But it's important to take the time to celebrate and keep pushing though. But it's weird how what was such a big accomplishment or number or goal now is like, oh, that happened, and now that is happening each month. Or pretty much each month, and now it's on to the next goal. So it's really cool that we have the opportunity to continuously grow and push and expand your team, which we'll talk about. But you have the opportunity now to help more people on your team that you've hired recently, which we'll dive into.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see that impact. What kind of impact have not only all these additional clients you seem to be helping, but what kind of impact do you feel like the agency's been able to have having this growth?
I don't know.
I mean, you've been able to hire some more employees.
Oh.
Is your agency pretty involved in the local community at all?
A little bit, yes.
A little bit. You've been able to make partnerships in the area and obviously help a bunch more insureds too. So it's exciting to see that, and exciting to see the big growth plans for this year too. But let's rewind a little bit because and let me know in the comments if you're looking to have a big breakout year for 2022, if you're looking to double your business for 2022 and some of your goals, go ahead and write in the comments if you're looking to have a big breakout year for 2022. But let's go ahead and rewind a little bit for what I think a lot of people can relate with, or those that are newer and getting started or getting started in their agencies, is what did that feel like a year ago? Like go all the way back a year ago or when you're even first starting the agency. And what were some of the challenges, the struggles? What did it kind of feel like back then at that point?
Oh, I felt like I was drowning.
Drowning?
couldn't-
Yep.
Yes, I felt like I was drowning. I couldn't focus on where I needed to put my energy. What do I do first? I didn't know what was the most important thing for me to tackle today to move forward. That was my biggest deal, and one of the main reasons too that I looked for and found the Closers Click, to get that focus, that roadmap, where to go, how to do it.
So like most agencies, it wasn't necessarily a lack of hustle or that you weren't willing to work. It was what is the right things to do? Where should I spend my time? What does work? And it sounds like you were trying a lot of things and run around and trying to what's going to be this thing that turns the needle or the knob. And what made you feel that it was a need for change or a time for change? Was it just I've kind of been stuck for a while or haven't been able to grow? Or what was those like, you know what, I'm ready to make some changes and to really grow this?
Right. I wasn't really moving up. I was kind of just staying. I was plateaued. But I was working hard. I was working long hours. I was calling leads all day long, following up, quoting everybody I could, but I wasn't progressing. And I really didn't know what was out there, what's possible, who to talk to. My district is amazing. They're great. But I didn't have a role model within the district that I could model my agency or go to for help. I needed to look outside. And that's what I did, and that's huge.
And that's so common. And, sometimes we're a part of great organizations or have really nice and helpful uplines or district managers and stuff, but they're only able to help in the areas that they're knowledgeable in and are able to help in, right? Like they may teach, this is how you do this type of report, or this is how farmers hires people, for example, or something like that. But as far as, here's how to generate a consistent pipeline full of leads and prospects, and here's how to sell them, and here's the ABCDs of running a successful agency or producing and growing a team. It's not like in almost every case, not like that's just like, here you go, and your upline organization has that all for you. In most cases, a lot of us, here's a contract, figure it out, and we can help in a few things, but you're going to have to figure out how to get people through the doors and how to write business off of them. So
I heard a lot, it's your agency, go for it. And I was like, okay.
Okay, yeah. So how many of you guys in the comments have heard a similar thing? It's like, hey, you're appointed, here's your stuff, go for it. You can do it. Go figure it out. Like, you got it. And if that sounds familiar at all, or you felt like that at all, even if you did feel like you're getting some help, then go ahead and write me in the comment. Mike in the comments is like, well, go for what?
For what?
What am I supposed to be going for?
Yeah.
So that's so true. And it is something we hear every single day in the Market for Insurance Agents group. Is like, hey, I was given a contract or I got an agency rolling, and then I was like, what do I do now? And how do I get people in the door? And really that being the biggest and toughest struggle, which really leads to everything else, right? Like you could have an amazing sales team. You could have, amazing servicing team. You could have, all these things in place. But if you don't have the client acquisition, the lead gen and the pipeline, then you don't have anybody to service or to sell. And so that's just the first of many challenges, which now you got pipelines and stuff in the door. It's not the only challenges, right? Not all your problems are solved once you're selling things. It's now, how do I keep them? How do I cross-sell them? How do I, make this agency more profitable? How do I grow my team? All these other things too. But that's the very first thing. So excited to talk about that. So write yes in the comments if any of this feels relatable. If it's like, I work really hard, but I'm just not seeing the results of that work. Or I put a lot of hours in, but I feel like nothing's moving where I need it to move, or I'm not sure what I should be spending those hours on. Or I feel like, maybe my upline's, super amazing, but I'm not getting the marketing and sales side really rolling like I would want to. Or maybe I am getting help on that, but I still just feel stuck. if that's you at all, just write yes in the comments and let me know that you can relate with that. And because we're going to talk about up next some of the biggest things that made the difference for Becky that she put in place for her agency, which is really, and this is applicable to all lines. What she's going to be talking about applies not only PNC, life, Medicare, health. This is all consistent things that whether you're solo entrepreneur, solo agency owner, solo producer, or you have a team, this all applies to you guys. So listen up closely to this. And also, Becky, I want to go back to that year prior. Was it just you at that point?
Well, it started out with just me and one full-time CSSR. By the end of the year, October-ish, I had added 2 more. So it was there by end of the year, I was at 4. So me and 4.
Awesome. So you had more than doubled your team by the end of the year. So awesome. So let's go ahead and hop in on some of these because we'll spend a little time talking on each of these. But let's talk about some of the biggest things that impacted that growth, moving you past being stuck, and really achieving this. As far as what were the biggest needle movers, and I think there's four big ones. So let's go ahead and hop in. What was one of the first big things that really made a big difference?
The first thing that I always say first off that made the biggest difference, it was tracking exactly what was working and what wasn't working. We do internet leads at my agency and tracking which vendors I'm getting the best results from, tracking the zip codes that's coming out of, everything, tracking as far even down what messages are getting opened, what's working and what's not. And I make adjustments all the time, even daily. Like if a certain vendor, a lot of people are asking us to send them requests and they're being responsive, I'm going to up my number that day and we're going to take more leads and we're going to keep working those. And I'm going to shut off the one that isn't. So even down to the day, I'm in there making adjustments for my team. So
which is huge as the agency owner is setting them up for success and manage that. So
right.
Guys, hopefully you heard that first one, and it's tracking. And we teach this and preach this not only in Closers Click, I mean everywhere. And you'd be surprised at how small a percentage of agents and agency owners are doing this, which especially as an agency owner, even more critical, is tracking, knowing your numbers, especially if you're working. But in general, with everything, is knowing your numbers in your business and knowing what's my cost per lead, what's my cost per sale, what's my ROI, what am I spending my time on, what's my opportunity cost for spending my time there. Yeah, I could go out and spend a ton of hours at networking events, and I technically got free leads or referrals from whatever comes from that. But really, my time is worth hundreds an hour or ever if I was selling stuff instead. So, what's the opportunity cost? And looking at all this and tracking all of this, I'm making decisions. And the other key thing, if you were listening really closely, that you heard Becky say there, was she didn't just track it and was like, oh, that's nice, and then just keep running the agency and chugging along. She adapted and responded and adjusted based on those numbers. So it's one thing just track numbers, not do anything with them. It's another to actually use those numbers. So that's awesome. And I have to say, it's really not often I run into people that are really extensively tracking and making decisions off that, which is so key, right? I mean, could you imagine at the scale that you're doing now, if you had no numbers and it was just come in each day and hopefully sell some stuff and go home? Which even as a solo producer or agency owner, I mean, tracking that stuff is so key and critical, and being able to make the decisions off that and knowing which levers to pull, because otherwise you'll identify the wrong thing and spend time and money trying to fix the wrong area of like, oh, these leads are really bad, so I'm gonna switch to someone else, and and then there'll be a bad there too, so I'm gonna switch to someone else. When it's really like your contact rate, and you're not doing enough to get the contact rate to then sell them. And if you don't know your numbers, you can't identify the right things to pull the lever. So let me know in the comments if you're currently tracking at all in your agency, and if you are tracking, if you're also reviewing those and making adjustments on those. And if you're not tracking, we've got some training, some other stuff we've talked about on that, but that's key. If you're not tracking, make a commitment to start tracking at least some in your agency and go from there. But the next thing we're going to talk about with Becky, which probably helps a bit with the tracking also, but as well as saving time, allowing your team to be more efficient is another important thing that a lot of agents and agencies are also not taking advantage of or utilizing real well. So, Becky, what was the second biggest thing that really made a huge difference in the growth of your agency?
When we implemented automation, we use Agency MVP, and the automation really helped. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, y'all.
Automation and consistent follow-up, is that?
Yeah, the consistency. And we use on following up on everyone, we use that 11357, where it's 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. That is huge because it's consistent throughout my agency, and I know the leads are being worked. And so that's just another, implementing the processes helped a lot. Yeah.
And what are some of the processes you're using automation? What are you using it for? Uploading the leads to work those leads, to distribute to your producers, to be able to
Yes.
see how your producers are working those leads and closing them, all that kind of stuff?
We can see all that in Agency MVP. So the leads come directly in. They automatically get a text message from us and an email from us at that point. And then asking them, if they want the quote, to respond by, do you want to text or email? They'll let us know. And then we know that those are good leads to really work, right? So that saves us a lot of times, because then we can, and then they're also set up on automation for like 3 years. So we have leads coming back, and we can work the ones that are raising their hands and are interested, instead of just chasing our tails of ones that we might not even have good data on. So
And that's the difference of sitting there smiling and dialing through a list versus letting the automation pull out the interested ones from that list and focusing time there instead. How many of you guys in the comments have smiled and dialed? Have gotten a list of major leads, your upline handed it to you, you bought it, whatever, and you just sat there calling one at a time and hope they pick up. If you've ever done that, go ahead and write in the comments, which, hey, not to say it doesn't work, not to say you won't hit it, not to say you won't hit the numbers, but you turbocharge that when you use automation and let it pull out those that are ready to talk, ready to have appointments, ready to respond back and call you or book appointments with you. And you can spend your time on those rather than trying to catch people when they're not available, only who's contacting them. And so that leads me into my next thing as well with automation, is a lot of people are used to the smile and dial and sit there and dial, but we all know people don't like to answer the phone as much anymore, especially if they don't know who's calling. So Agency MVP, is it using anything else to contact people? Like
right, we're using text and email.
Yep.
People love texting we'll go all the way down to the point of sale through a text. Never spoke to them until we actually get their routing and account information. So, and sometimes they want to provide that in a text as well. So they really, that's great, a great feature. My agency also does still call along with the email and the text. And we also, if we like the quote, we'll put it in the mail and postal mail it to them too. And we actually sold one just a little while ago that was a callback from, they got it in the mail. So that's not totally gone by the wayside, guys.
It has, especially as more people move away. That's the perfect time to go back, because now they're not getting hit with as much. So guys, you hear multiple forms of contact. Helps get the contact rate up, save yourself and your team's time, so that you can spend more time closing and less time, having people not answer the phone. So it's powerful, guys. And just think about the amount of time it saves even as well. Like if you're to sit there dialing, you can hit however many numbers in an hour, maybe get some pickups and talk time, versus people are already calling you, reaching out to you, and you're working those as well. How much time does that save you every hour? Now multiply that by a team of 5+ producers, and now over a series of days, it saves infinite amounts of time. So Agency MVP, or I see people asking about that, Apex, there's a bunch of different lead management systems, it's automation software out there. And the most important thing is you're using one and it's got multiple forms of contact. Those two things are the biggest. If you can do that, then you will save time and you will help grow your agency there. And Becky's just talking about using it just for the lead side, helping work the leads, getting responses there, but really using automation, if you guys were listening when I was talking to her earlier, allows you to get so much deeper. Imagine the power of being able to, one, see each of your producers, how they're working their leads, how they're closing their leads, realize, oh, this producer does much better with more of the real-time type leads, and this one actually closes way better on aged leads. So I'm going to feed each of them what they do best. And also, these 3 lead sources, this one's getting me a 5x return, this one's getting me a 1x or 1.5x. Well, I'm going to put more money in my 5x. Just think about this, guys. Think about optimizing your production and your agency, and this is part of what goes into that, and stuff like this. And Becky being able and willing to put that in with her team has made a huge difference. So that's number 2. So the first one was tracking everything and making decisions off that. And the second is automation and consistent follow-ups. Talk a little bit more about that if you can on the follow-up side. Most people call a few times, maybe text or leave a voicemail, move on to the next lead, and then that lead's dead to me forever. So talk a little bit of what that follow-ups look like as well, and what that's doing for you.
When we get a new lead, we work them hard for at least 2 weeks until they tell us no, before we consider piping them out. We try all the things like we talked about earlier, all the contact methods, trying to get that foot in the door, just anything. Once you get your foot in your door, you're on your way.
Slide it.
Yeah, just slide in. And after that, if they're really good, we might continue on for a month, or we might continue on until their renewal comes. Or if it's still a long ways out, then we'll pipe it out and they'll come back a month before their renewal and we'll work them hard for that 4 weeks. But at that point, when at the renewal, we're usually an exclusive agent. We're the only one reaching out at that point. Everyone else has fallen out. The list is in the desk drawer somewhere. So we have a huge advantage. And so at our agency, we sell most of our leads later on. Six to 18 months later, after we receive the lead, that's when most of our sales occur. Because at first they're getting bombarded and they don't want anything to do with us. They kind of, they push back. They're like, whoa, their wall went way up. So we do most of our sales at that point. And in fact, we sold a lead that was imported with my agency from 2015 earlier today. So, I mean, it's data, like it's save your data, put it all in your CRM, and it's good to you, like until they pass away. Like it's great, or they tell you to stop, but we're not gonna talk about that.
Well, and when we talk about healthy pipelines that you're not just going to sell today, you're going to sell this month, you're going to sell over the next 6 months, years, as you build and scale your production, your agency. A healthy pipeline is not just some leads I'm going to attempt to sell today, and then I need to replace those leads tomorrow and attempt to sell those, and I'm just going to go in circles with that, because that's really looking at capturing the 10% that are ready to buy right now, which any given market, 10% are ready to buy right now. But you're not looking just for those 10%. That's not how you maximize your ROI. That's where you maybe break even, maybe you make a little bit. But if you're really looking to build a profitable, sustainable agency, you need the people that aren't only just looking to buy now, the people looking to buy in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month, in 6 months, 5 years later, or whatever, 6, 7 years later with this one that just came through. And this is how you keep a pipeline in using automate, because you can't reach out for 6 months manually to each prospect yourself and send a million emails and texts. That's using automation, lets you keep those people that, hey, I'm ready to buy now. I'm ready to buy now. I'm ready to buy now. Plus the people that are ready to buy today. And this is how people really churn up their sales and really grow and scale that. And so that's what we're talking about here with this follow-up. It isn't just, I send a couple more emails, so hopefully they'll buy. It's I keep them in my pipeline. So they're not dead. They just end up converting later on. And I have this stuff come in. I'm like, I haven't even talked to this person in 5 years. And all of a sudden they're ready to buy from me. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about healthy pipelines. So thank you, Becky, for saying that. And guys, keep the questions coming. We are collecting them, like Mike, Tara, James, Jennifer, Lawrence, got all your questions. So make sure to keep those questions coming in the chat. We're collecting those. We'll answer those in just a little bit. So the third biggest needle mover. So we talked about tracking, we talked about automation and follow-up. So what was the third biggest needle mover for you that made a huge difference? And honestly, it's probably one of the biggest things for sure.
Hiring great people. So, and I honestly didn't go out and look for the people with the most insurance experience or the most sales experience. I was looking for people with teachers' hearts that really were going to care about our customers. And that's the route I went. I figured we could teach them insurance, but you can't really teach people how to be kind and sweet and helpful, and that's what I wanted for my agency. So I found some people, and like I said, none of them, well, maybe I have one rock star, too, but they're not off the charts. They're not doing this $100,000 by themselves. A good month is, 20,000, but I would take people doing 20,000 a month all day long that consistently and that are taking good care of our customers. I think that's amazing. So,
and what is hiring those types of people done for the team culture for you, as well as what kind of feedback have you gotten from customers and clients to do that?
I feel like our customers are happy when they fill out the review sheets. I always see, they helped answer all my questions. They took all the time with me that I needed. I think that makes a difference. Then they're not just really trying to, they're not trying to just make the sale. So, yeah. The culture here, the culture is huge. You have to make it fun. We ring the bell for every sale. I have bell right on my desk. They come in after every sale. We ring it. The whole office cheers. I mean, we just have a culture here of fun and happy, and it comes through in their sales.
Love it. And I know we're gathering questions for a little bit, but I did want to bring up one that was just asked right there. How'd you find the right kind of employee? Where were you mostly looking for these people or find these people that have, the teachers' hearts and want to educate clients, take good care of them?
I've found like every one of my employees on Facebook. I know it's so weird, but they say social media. Not only are you putting stuff on social media, like advertising your business and talking to people about that, but they're also watching of, well, I might want to work there. Like, that looks like a great place to be. So that's how, and then when I did put a job posting, I had applicants that I like fell in love with. So,
which is awesome. So, great question, Muna. Appreciate that. So hiring a great, and you guys, I'm sure I've heard this before, having a great team and great people make all the difference as well. So that's a huge impact as well. So thanks for sharing that, Becky, on tracking, automation follow-ups, hiring a great team that focuses on educating and taking good care of your clients and that team culture. And then what was the fourth biggest thing that had a huge impact on your growth for your agency? And you already kind of mentioned a little bit. Social media.
Social media.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I really wasn't doing much of social media, I was scared to put it out there. I thought I'm not any good at it. And then our Closers Click, they were saying, do it. I'm like, no, not for me. Just not for me. But the more I've done it, like you put a post out and then your people reach out to you asking for quotes. And what better lead is that? Like, is there any better lead in the whole world than someone that came to you and already knows who you are asking you for a quote, and you didn't solicit them for it? You were just telling people what you were doing. And so that made a difference too, having those kinds of closes every month. And then from there, we can bridge off to referrals. And it did. It helped.
So not only,
as much as I don't want to admit it, no, just kidding.
As much as I, don't like social, I did it and it really worked. And so not only for, leads and prospects and sales, but for you're finding your hires and your people too, and then referral partners too.
It really has. It was a game changer. So, and
And Karen was saying, I advertise on Facebook. It doesn't work. Karen, we're not even talking about paid. This is all organic stuff on Facebook.
No paid and no real advertising. more like posting pictures of what me and my staff, Halloween pictures, we dressed up for Halloween, and with our farmers logo in the background. More just showing things that we do and helping customers and telling our story than advertising. It's really soft. Like, I'm not a pushy person, so it was very, very soft advertising type deal.
Yeah. The strategies we teach and focus on are what works, not the advertising. Come get a free quote from me.
Yes.
Which does not. If you haven't figured out already, guys, that doesn't really work. So if you guys got any questions about social media or anything like that, go ahead and write them in the comments there. We'll collect those as well. But write yes. Is this making sense? Do these 4 different areas really make sense to you? Got any questions about those? Go ahead and ask those. But those are the 4 biggest areas that Becky really took advantage of and put in place for this massive growth in her agency that you can do. Everybody can be tracking and putting that stuff in place and analyzing that to make decisions to adjust their agency to get the best ROI. Everybody can be using automation and consistent follow-up for getting a higher contact rate and more closes. Everybody can be looking to hire the right people as you are ready to hire and grow and scale your teams, and what goes into that to make the best hires versus those that are just going to leave as soon as they're trained or not work out. And then everybody can really be focused on utilizing social media, one of the biggest opportunities today for growing your business as well. So if you guys got questions on that, go ahead and drop them. In the meantime, Becky, what advice do you have for those tuning in today on what they can do for growing their business? And also, what do you wish you would have known a year ago?
Ooh, I wish I would have staffed up quicker. I wish I would have just jumped in and gotten some staff quicker. That has helped. And the closers click, y'all. I needed that roadmap. I needed that step by step. This is what we do, or this is what's possible. I needed the collaboration with other agents in the same position as me to feed off of and help elevate me, I guess, like take me up. Yeah.
So roadmap, community, accountability, and growing your team quicker and faster and earlier would have been the biggest things that you tell people are the biggest takeaways and key things that, if you had done that a year ago, you would have got that in place even sooner. Awesome.
You don't know what you don't know. Like,
you don't know what you don't know, right? I mean,
no.
How could you? You don't know. So,
No.
so I love it, guys. This is the last chance to get questions in because we're about to do the Q&A. So if you got any last questions, go ahead and drop them and we'll answer them in just a second. I've got them all collected. I see a nice little list off to here that we'll go through in just a second. But before we do that, just want to take a chance, guys. You guys, every week we work with agents and agency owners within our private community, Closers Click, which you've heard Becky talking about. And that's where we help them grow thriving insurance businesses. Not only do we provide the strategies, but also the community and the accountability to get those results, to get that growth. And if you're interested in learn more about working with us to scale your business, just write 100K, just 100K in the comments, and we'll connect, get you some more info after this for if it's the right fit, and a bit more on that as well. And this is really where we actually guarantee at least an additional 10,000 commissions over working with us in the program as a part of that. And that's really where we dive in, not only the lead generation, the sales, the automation, and really into all these different areas for growing and scaling your business. So just write 100K if you'd like to learn a little bit more, see if that's a fit for you. And we will be happy to reach out and get you some info, as well as we got a bunch of trainings that we'd love to get you guys that we've done here in this group, and happy to send over some trainings, whatever is the best fit for you guys and what you guys would find most helpful as well. So just write 100K and we'll get those to you. So before we go into the Q&A though, Becky, I would love if you can let everybody know where they can find you, as well as who you're looking to connect with. Who's an ideal referral partner? Who's an ideal client?
Oh, I am PNC agent in Texas. I can write all of Texas. So really, if you have a need and you're in Texas, or if you're an agent outside of Texas and you need to connect with someone, I love working with other agents. So let me know. I'd be happy to help you or your clients. Our ideal referral partner.
I would say you got a pretty interesting one. But also obviously loan officers, real estate agents, but I mean, and small business
Families, right? Just families in Texas.
Families.
Yeah, we help families. So
awesome. Well, go check out her business page, guys. Connect with Becky, and especially if you're in Texas, make sure you say hi. But awesome. So we're gonna hop into some questions. So like I said, last chance, slide them in. We're about to go through them, and then we're cutting off because otherwise we'll be here all night answering questions. But in the meantime, once again, just write 100K, and we'll get you some more information about Closers Quick, growing and scaling your insurance business, and love to get that plus some trainings over for you guys too. So with that, we'll roll through these. And so let's see. Lawrence was asking, how did you purchase a book of business? From farmers?
From farmers. Mm-hmm. I just connected with the district manager in my area, and he let me know what my options were. So, yep.
Awesome. And guys, if you're looking to buy books, they are not abundant right now today. I think everybody's looking to buy books and speed those up because insurance is one of the few industries that massively grew and was profitable during the recession. And premiums are going at an insane valuation for agencies as well and stuff. So if you're able to find books of business and premium, I would definitely look at those, but everybody wants to buy them right now. So good call on grabbing one back then and getting rolling with the agency. I will also say, starting from scratch is difficult from ground zero. If getting the book is also still difficult, but it's nice to already have some customers and some cash flow a little bit. So I'm sure do you regret that decision, or you're happy you started with the book?
Oh, I'm very happy I started with the book.
Yeah. I thought so. And let's see. Jennifer was asking, was 100K for the entire agency? Yes. And the premium, and you have at that point in time three main producers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And are you still doing production yourself as well, or is it mainly your team that's doing the production?
No, I've stepped back. I'm working, that say work on your business, not in your business. So I do the role of coach and cheerleader, basically. Yeah.
Guys, how big of a win is that to get to the point of the agency owner running everything where your team is doing all the production, you have the stuff in place, and you're just helping to optimize that and scale and grow that business and be there to support them. That's a huge win that a lot of people it's so tough to get to that point where the production, it's not relying on me. I'm giving up that control. I'm empowering my people to do it. It's scary sometimes too. So if you in the comments, that's a goal to get to where, hey, I'm an agency owner and my whole team is doing this and I'm running the business rather than being the business, write me in the comments. I think a lot of people can relate to that. Mike is MVP in place of Apex. Yes, you're using MVP for your lead management system, right?
Yes. Apex, I'm still using for customer management when I can. It's not fully functional just yet. So when I can, but for leads, totally do it in agency MVP. Yeah.
Yep. And like I said, guys, there's a lot of systems out there, but MVP is pretty popular with farmers. So you guys even get some sort of discount or co-op money or something towards it.
We do. We get it for half price. So yes.
Todd, who runs, good guy. Let's see, Tara, what do you use for automation? Agency MVP, what she mentioned there. Let's see, is MVP your CRM or lead provider? What she just mentioned, it's the lead provider, and the CRM that she's using for customers is Apex, which is a farmer's proprietary system, exclusive to farmers there. James, do you mail cards or actually go out and knock when you can't reach them? You do any mail?
We do mail out the quotes on the ones we like. If we think that we're winning, it's a great household, 4 cars and, big house and all that, then of course we mail it and we go after it in all the ways. If it's a liability only state minimum, we don't usually.
And being farmers, PNCH, you're probably not going and physically knocking doors at your mailing, right?
To door knock? No.
Yeah. So
everything's over the phone or text, usually. Mostly text.
PNC is almost 100% on the phone nowadays. Now, James, if you're asking more from a life, health, Medicare perspective, and you're doing like direct mail, and they're within driving range, which usually they are for direct mail, then yeah, I would definitely recommend if you can't get a hold of them, go knock it because you already paid for the lead and go get it. But a little bit different. Becky's using it to mail out quotes to people that they think they're going to win, and then get them to reach out back after getting that quote. So, and most of you guys probably write me in the comments if you've got one of those before, which I know I've got a ton in the mail. Is you get a mailer from whatever insurance agency or carrier, wherever, and it's like, oh, this is probably the quote for your home, and we could save you on your insurance. And you're like, oh, you would save me money. Then you reach out. That's the idea behind that, and it works if you're competitive. Not so much if you're not competitive.
No.
So they're not going to call you. Let's see. Karen, what products are you selling? You want to kind of go through your standard areas you focus on?
Home and auto. I start with auto. I buy auto leads, and then we cross the home or renters when we can. And then we sell life also.
And how much life did you do last year?
Oh, we had 40 issued and paid.
Where did that kind of place you?
Yeah. Well, we were number one in our district.
Okay, that's pretty good. As most of PNC side knows, life isn't the most favorite or fun or thing to sell, and so placing number one in your district for selling life is huge. So big congrats on that. That's really awesome. So I think a few farmers agents and others with PNC in the question or comments may have some questions on that for you, I'm sure. Let's see. David, 20,000 premium or commission. I think we're just talking about agents 20,000 in premium a month. Which nice thing about PNC premium and commissions is it's renewals. So one nice thing versus like life, for example, is PNC you're building up a big book and renewals would be nice. So 20,000 if you can have a PNC producer writing that consistently, that's good, especially captive like farmers. So and now you've got a whole bunch of players writing that consistently. So now 100,000 plus. That's awesome. So Motorai, I'm a farmer's agent too. Any info on how farmers helps with this? You want to give a few tips or shout outs on a few farmers resources that have been really helpful for you?
Farmers helps with the closers click or helps with?
Oh, I think just in general.
What helps with in general?
He's a farmer's agent too. So she was like, what things from farmers that you talk about?
So Farmers does let you do cost share on like agency MVP. So you get that half. They also have affiliations, I guess you would call it, partnerships with various lead vendors. So you can get your leads usually at a discounted rate.
Like EverQuote.
EverQuote and Quote Wizard, which that's primarily what I use. I haven't ventured out to the other ones. We just use the big name and do that. And then they have some training, but yeah, that's that. Yeah,
Come to Closers Click, guys. We should
check out the Closers Click for
Becky,
marketing.
if you want to hook us up with farmers, maybe we'll work out some cost share or something with farmers.
Okay.
Which we have. Any of you guys that are nationwide, we actually have got approved for like nationwide co-op money and stuff. So for any of you guys that write a bunch of nationwide. Let's see. Ron, are you mostly selling PNC? Yes. What other lines do you handle? Life as well. And then got some referral partners with others. Lawrence, what is Becky's favorite CRM for agency? Well, she's using Apex, the CRM, and MVP for her lead management system.
Yep.
Mike's got a good one. Do you use the Chamber of Commerce? Are you involved with that at all? Participate at all?
Well, actually, I'm not. And the reason being is because there's 50 farmers agents in my district, and several of them are members. And so I kind of thought that was already full. So right now, no, but I'm not close to the idea. We're doing well with our social and our internet leads. So that's kind of where I'm focused at the moment.
And that's something, there's nothing against, and we love this too for networking, referrals, different groups, as long as they're good fits and a good ROI for you. But in general, I think a lot of people want to go focus on a lot of local events, networks and stuff. They spend so much time but not really getting the results of that because everybody loves to hand a business card and want business, but no one likes to actually take the first step and send the business. That I think a lot of people really end up with negative ROIs with the time they spend on that as well. But you get in a good group and it's solid, especially if you get in a group with a great loan officer and real estate agent and you're the insurance side, then yeah, they can be really powerful. But be careful with what you join and what you focus on. Just make sure it's a fit and it's going to be a good use of time and effort, especially when you're at a stage of needing to grow your business and then continuing to push that momentum. If she's got a system that's predictable and measurable, if I put this much in and I get this much out, and I know how to keep the pipelines full, she can go as many networking events as she wants. The pipeline's not going to be full for her and 5+ producers and hiring more producers. You got to have something else to go along with that. And so she's done it vice versa. Now she could go add other stuff, but she can always turn up her system she's already got. So that's something to think about, guys. Just keep that in mind as you're thinking through, what does my pipeline look like? What can I do for that? But when you have something predictable, it's much more fun to grow a pipeline and bring on new producers versus like, oh, I've got enough business for me, but if I bring in a producer, where are they going to get business? That's not where you want to be. You want to be like, I already know where they're going to get business from. So, anything on that you wanted to add, Becky?
Well, yeah, it's perfect sense. And it helped when I was adding my producers, because in agency MVP, when you have your leads, I have pages of leads to work, too many for us to work in a day. And that's how I knew it's time to hire someone, because we can't get through all of the leads that I have coming in. We can't get through all of them. So
write yes in the comments if that's a problem that you wouldn't mind having. If you would like to be in the situation where I have too many leads, I can't even get to all of them. I can't even write them all. And so I'm desperate for hiring someone just because I even have stuff for them already to work. They don't have to go out and go randomly find business. If that's a problem you'd like to have, write yes in the comments. I think most people would enjoy that problem. Let's see. Diane was asking, what's the Closers Click? That's our private community program for growing your sales and production, where we focus on lead generation, lead nurture, and increasing profitability of your agency as a part of that. So a lot of different areas. It's very comprehensive, but we focus on the strategies. We have live training and accountability as a part of that, coaching, a community of agents like Becky that are all doing knowledge share and pushing each other along as well. And we actually have a guaranteed additional 10,000 commissions as a part of that program as well. So that's Closers Click. Once again, if you want any more info on that, just write 100K in the comments and we'll get you some more info on that. Let's see. Karen, is for PNC only? It's life and Medicare. Nope, it's for everybody. We got life, we got Medicare, we got health, we got PNC, we got captive, we got independence, we got people with their series licenses and financial advising. Yep, all lines, guys. So and Tony, I think you mentioned this a little bit, but in case there was any you didn't mention, Tony was asking, who do you use for leads for the data?
for my leads, EverQuote and Quote Wizard.
Those are your two primary ones.
Mm-hmm. I've tried others, but those are my go-to that are consistently helping me along. So
Especially because you get a cost share with them. So that is
exactly
with ROI for sure. And what type of leads do you typically work? Data internet, or do you work others too?
Data internet. We buy auto leads and cross-sell the others. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Do you do any? Yes. You focus primarily on auto for you, and then do you do any like live shared leads, live transfers, telemarket leads, or you pretty much stick to?
I do the live shared. Like they enter the data and then it's sent sent to us.
Yep.
Like when they click the submit button, it's sent to us. That's the kind of lead that we do. I haven't really gone into live transfers because I would like to be the one to talk to them or my staff. I feel like when they get transferred, then they're going to just hang up. That I don't know. Yeah.
It's a much harder ROI, especially if you're working auto on live transfers.
So that's just how we go about it. Yeah.
Awesome. Hopefully I answered your question, Tony. And I think we got through the questions. So congrats. That was awesome. So really appreciate everything, Becky, guys. Once again, if you'd like any info on the Closers Click, or you just like some of the trainings that we've done as part of the Marketing for Insurance Agents group, we did one with Olivia not too long ago and how she's booking 20+ life appointments a week using social media and TikTok as a 19-year-old. I don't even know if she's turned 20 yet. 19-year-old doing that, selling IULs if you'd like a video on Christy on the PNC side as a brand new agent coming in using video on social to do 40,000 in production, remote as a remote producer. If you'd like one on, I don't know, we have a ton, guys. We'll get you the ones that are the most useful and beneficial for you. Just write 100K and we'll connect and we'll get you guys that. And then also after this, as you are, as we end the webinar, it'll take you to a page where actually we'll have a couple for you to choose from if you'd like, and you can enter in your phone and email, and someone from our team will get you those trainings and everything as well. Plus, if you want to learn some more about the culture stuff. But Becky, I really appreciate you taking the time, appreciate you being here, appreciate everybody who attended. Once again, congrats on all your growth and success and continued growth. Really appreciate you being a part of the Closers Click. So happy to have you. And thank you guys for being here. Glad you enjoyed the training, Lawrence. Appreciate that. And we do these every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern. So come check them out and make sure to connect with Becky and say hi. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Becky.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.